So this is a Master's of Arts in Pastoral Ministry program. So what exactly does that mean? What do we envision by that? By Pastoral Ministry Master's degree, what we envision is providing sort of two pillars for our students: knowledge and ministerial skills, right? So the content of the faith, right? Theology, history, moral theology, ecclesiology, the study of the church, spiritual tradition, liturgy, all of that sort of the content of the faith that is passed down to us from generation to generation. And then the second part is ministerial skills. How do we in the 21st century minister to the people of God, minister to people who are not part of our faith tradition? How do we interact with them? And of course, there are better ways of doing that and worse ways. You know, just shaking the Bible at somebody generally is not a good way to minister to somebody. So it's content and skills. Now, I said it's for pastoral ministers. What do I mean by that? Well, we talk about pastoral ministers in the broadest sense. So certainly if it's somebody who works for a parish, for example, a director of religious education, a pastoral associate, something like that. But we mean that in the broadest sense. We have retirees in our program who aren't professional ministers, but they are very active in their parishes. Youth ministers, campus ministers, catechists, K through 12 theology teachers. Permanent deacons, we have one permanent deacon in our program. We have one religious sister in our program. We have 4 former seminarians in the program. We have baby boomers. We have people in their 20s, professional ministers. We have one woman who has 7 kids. And I say, in a sense, being a mother or a father, that's the most important pastoral minister, right? Your charge as a mother or a father is to pass down that tradition to your children. So how do you do that? And it's going to be different if you're a mother or a father compared to a professional minister, right? So giving those skills. So we envision pastoral ministers in the broadest sense. And frankly, we have students in this program who are just interested in learning more about their faith. They want to go more deeply in the faith. So we have people who are you know, you can be a part-time student, you can be a full-time student. You can just take some classes if you want to, if you don't want to pursue the full degree. Here's a snapshot of our curriculum. So it's 12 courses. And how quickly you finish through the program is up to you in many ways. So you could finish the program as early as 2 years. That means you'd have to take 3 classes a semester, so you'd be a full-time student. Or if you wanted to space it out, either because of money or because of time or commitments, you could take 1 class a semester. That means it would take you 6 years to finish, which is perfectly fine for us. We don't pressure our students to go through any more quickly than they want to. So it's just a question of measuring your time and your finances. Next semester, we are teaching 3 courses. So if you wanted to be full-time, you could do that. So I'll be teaching a dogmatic theology class on Monday nights. We have a Introduction to Pastoral Ministry in Theory and Practice class on Tuesday nights. And then on Thursday nights, we have someone teaching Old Testament and its interpretation. Right now, this semester, I'm teaching church history, and we have somebody else teaching a moral theology class. All of our classes are in the evenings from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. So as I mentioned, I teach on Monday nights right now. This is a fully online program. So that means you never have to come to campus, especially if you know, we know that we in Camarillo, California are kind of out of the way for people, especially who live in LA. Gas prices are $6 a gallon. Traffic is horrible. People just don't want to come to campus. So we're trying to meet people where they're at. So classes 1 day a week from 7 to 9 p.m. And classes are on Zoom just like this. And you can see that picture there. On the screen is a picture of the studio that I'm standing in. That we spend a significant amount of time and money building a video recording studio, so that we can offer a quality online experience. So professional microphone, professional lighting, professional camera, etc. And classes are going to, on the exact format is going to differ from professor to professor. So, for example, in my classes, students read once a week a text. So for next week, we're in the middle of a unit on the Second Vatican Council, so they'll be reading a document from that. They'll also have to watch a video that I upload to YouTube, and it's a lecture that I give. So you can watch that whenever it fits your schedule. If that's 3 in the morning, you can do that. And then you come to class on in my case, Monday nights, and for 2 hours we talk about the text. What are the implications of this particular text, for example, for ministering to the people of God? What is this teaching us? What are the skills or the content that it's giving to us? In my classes, we don't have exams. Students give presentations, a couple of different presentations, and also a paper at the end of the semester. But other professors might not have presentations. They may have, for example, a paper and exams. So every class is going to be a little bit different, but that's the general format. 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. one day a week. I talked about content and specifically curriculum. Now let's talk about the skills. What skills will be developed? So, for example, these are skills that are transferable from different sort of job to job. If you are a professional minister, maybe you start out as a youth minister or young adult minister, and then as you grow in your ministry, then you might shift to a different job. You do pre-Cana program or an RCI program. Pretty much every parish leads a Bible study, for example. So how do you do that well? What's the difference between simply asking someone how the Bible makes them feel as opposed to sort of going deeply into the sort of objective meaning of the text? So a variety of different skills that can be transferable depending on a particular job or a volunteer opportunity or position that you have. I said that this is a fully online program, so nobody ever has to come to campus. However, we do have optional Saturdays. This is one Saturday per semester where students can come to campus, and we do a variety of things. You can see the picture there is a picture of our chapel. So we begin with Mass, and in fact, our very first one is going to be this coming Saturday. We are going to have Mass and then a variety of presentations. We have one deacon who's going to be presenting on how to minister to the Vietnamese community. We have another presenter giving a presentation, how do you minister to the Hispanic community? We're obviously going to break bread together, have a tour of campus, and we're going to end the day with adoration led by a deacon and one of our musicians. So again, these are entirely optional. Students never have to come to these, but we wanted to provide that as a possibility if someone wants to take advantage of that campus and have those sort of incarnational experiences, if you will. So we are a seminary, and you might be looking into other programs. So an obvious question is, what sets us apart from our competitors, either here in Southern California or around the country, because there are other online programs. One of the things that sets us apart is tuition. We have, I'm confident, the lowest tuition around, and I'll talk about tuition in just a minute. Number two, because we're a seminary, we're going to be a bit different from other schools like a university. And some of the faculty that teach in our program also teach the seminarians, and in many ways give the exact same content or teaching. So, for example, a colleague of mine right now, Dr. Elizabeth Reichert, she's teaching moral theology in our program on Thursday nights. But she also teaches the seminarians. So she's basically teaching the same class with maybe a few minor tweaks. As I mentioned, there are optional Saturday gatherings. Some schools don't offer that at all. Other schools, like Notre Dame, for example, I know they force their students to come to campus 2 weeks out of the summer, which might be fine for some people, and some people might be excited about that. But our approach or assumption is that our students are working, they have families, maybe they only get 2 weeks vacation a year. Let's be honest, they don't want to waste their 2 weeks vacation a year coming to our campus. So giving the option to come for those Saturday gatherings, but never requiring students to come. And then finally, the quality of our technology. I already mentioned this video recording studio that I'm standing in. My experience with other programs, there are very few programs that are interested in investing the money and the time to build a studio like this and offer a high quality technological experience. In previous institutions I've worked at, you just have a $20 camera sitting on top of your laptop, and that's the extent. And maybe you can't hear the professor all that well. The lighting is bad. You're looking up his or her nose the entire time. No, that's not enjoyable. And if you're going to spend a significant amount of your time and money to be in a program, that we think that you should have a good technological experience. Finally, before any sort of questions you might have, did want to talk about cost. So each course is $1,050. As I mentioned, you can take the whole program, or if you just wanted to take some sort of pick and choose some classes that are of interest to you, that's fine. There are 12 classes in the program, as I already mentioned. So that means the entire program is $12,600, which on the one hand, that's not change. That's a significant amount of money. On the other hand, I think if you were to compare our program to other programs around the country, you'll find that that is extremely low. In fact, I got a master's degree in Chicago 20 years ago, and 20 years ago, it was twice that cost. I don't even want to know what that program costs now. It's probably 3 or 4 times that. And so I think, and I'm not just saying this because I'm the director of the program, but I'm confident in saying objectively, you're getting a high quality education from somebody like Dr. Reichert, or I teach in the program, or these other professors that we have lined up for next semester. You're getting a first-rate quality education at really a low price. Now, again, I know that that still can be financially difficult for somebody, especially people in ministry who we know don't make a lot of money. So one way of sort of managing those costs, as I mentioned earlier, if you want to, you can take one class per semester. Again, that will take you 6 years to get through the program. But if you choose to do that way, you're only paying $2,100 a year, right? So one class, $1,050 per semester. So that's 2 semesters in a year. So per year, you'd be paying $2,100. So that is one way of sort of managing those funds. We do not have the ability to offer federal loans because we do not take, as an institution, we do not take money from the federal government. When you take money from the federal government, there are strings attached, and so our goal is to give the tuition as low as possible to make it sort of manageable. And I'll say one final point here about tuition. Oftentimes graduate programs are like car sales. If you go to buy a car and you read the sticker price, and it'll tell you one price. But at the end of the day, after you negotiate and you got to pay taxes, and you may have additions like undercoating or all that stuff, you never really know at the beginning what you're paying, right? Which is one of the reasons why people hate buying cars. But I want to reassure you, there's no sort of hidden costs here. Our administration basically took the approach of people in ministry don't make a lot of money. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a very low tuition. And then the hope is we're going to have a lot of students. And so it's that model of low tuition, but high number of students so that we can pay our bills. So that's the general take. And there's no, this is not a sticker price where things will be different, either through scholarships and lower it, or hidden fees to make it higher than $12,600. This is the price that the program is.